Hey, hello everybody, this is Marcus Toole. Probably got a nice picture of my hand right there, but I am in my home orchard. It is July 17th, 2025, and this is a tour of the orchard. The last tour was on May 5th. So a couple of months have passed. At that time, I had like 2 ripe plums. The first 2 of the season. Plum season is done. We're about halfway through pear season. We're one of my fig trees is finishing up, and the other one is starting. And the muscadine vine is just starting to ripen some grapes on it. Anyhow, what we're looking at here are some Gulf Series plums, young grafts that I did this year. This one has got some red on it. That is a Gulf Rose. Next to it are 2 Gulf Beauties, and then there's a Munson rootstock next to them. All 3 of those are grafted onto Munson. That's also on a Munson rootstock. Prunus munsonia, another Munson rootstock. Those are from grafts that did not take. Over there we have a Toole's Heirloom sucker, which is suckering up from that tree right there. That's actually is a grafted tree, but the rootstock is Toole's Heirloom. It was supposed to be ruby sweet, but it's clear that it is not ruby sweet. That tree was misidentified. All these little trees in here are little grafted trees, part of my little nursery efforts, and I will be selling most of them come fall. This bigger tree here, it was supposed to be segundo, and I'm pretty sure that it was misidentified, not by the nursery that I got it from, but by a nursery it's like 3 nurseries ago that the error was made. So it is what it is. One of the well, this little tree here, this is actually the drag queen. I tried grafting into it. That didn't work out very well. I'm actually going to remove it, and I'm going to put a Gulf Rose in that place, and that will be its forever home. And this little seedling wild Chickasaw plum, I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to put a Gulf Blaze pretty close to it, to where that tree is. My Gulf Blaze young trees are over here. I actually have 4 of them. 2 I'm going to keep. The big one's going to stay where it is. The smaller one is going to move where I just mentioned, close to where that Chickasaw plum is. And then this one right here, I'm going to sell to the Georgia Southern Botanic Garden. And then there's another one in here. One of these is a Gulf Blaze that I'm going to sell to someone in the general public. This is a Black Ruby plums, part of the Byron. Oh, the Gulf Series plums. Let me explain what those are. Those are the plum varieties that were released by the University of Florida. They have a super low chilling requirement. They're a little bit of an experiment. I am not, the risk with them is that they might bloom too early in the season. We're going to find out this year, because several of them are going to try to bloom. However, I think based on where this tree came from, and based on the fruit I got this year, I got good firm fruit that's like commercial quality, way better than Segundo is supposed to be, actually. And I think it's either a Gulf Series plum or relative to the Gulf Series plums. And based on where the original scion came from 3 nurseries ago, that seems like a really good guess. Based on what I'm seeing vegetatively and just how the plums, what the plums were like. If I'm correct, then the Gulf plums will do just fine in our climate. They'll bloom early, but not too early most seasons. This is my Sonny's yellow plum tree. It had a huge crop this year, and my youngest of three of the oh, brain work. Robusto. My mind. These are spring satins, including this one here, and this is the one I'm keeping. I might move one of the spring satins to another part of the yard. Others I'm going to sell. Fig tree that's producing. This is the one that's kind of finishing up. Yeah, it's got a lot of green figs in it. The birds just especially like this one, and so I doubt I get to eat very few figs off of this tree. The black fig, I get to eat a lot more of them. The birds don't like it as much for whatever reason. This is my ruby red grapefruit. This is its first year. Well, last year it produced one grapefruit. I have, I'd say, a handful of grapefruit on it this year. So this is its, you know, I think about maybe a dozen at most on it. So we'll see. It's awfully cold sensitive for our climate. This is the pink frost grapefruit. If you're going to spend money on a grapefruit tree, if you just have space for one, I'd say get pink frost. The ruby red's a bigger fruit, actually a much bigger fruit, but pink frost is more productive. At least it has been for me, and it is a heck of a lot more cold hardy. Here's my other pink frost, and I have a little one in the back that I had in a spot that it didn't like being in, and I moved it here, and it's much happier, and it doesn't have as much space here. Now these little plum trees, these are little wild plums that are around it that I plan to sell come winter. So this is a muscadine vine. Let's see, let me give you, this is on a grape arbor. This is, you know, arbors are not really the way to do them if the goal is fruit production. I'm treating this vine more like an ornamental for my little swing, but it does have a ton of grapes on it, and they're pretty good. This is a old self-fertile variety. There are better varieties out there now. This is one called Ison. It is productive, and it doesn't require much maintenance. And what I'll tell you, and they're beginning to ripen a little bit. What generally happens with the muscadines on this tree, and this is why, I mean, I used to have a bunch of muscadine vines, and I kind of gave up on them because the possums like them way less ripe than I do, and it doesn't matter how many muscadine vines there are in the yard, the possums are going to get every one of them and eat them way before I want to pick them. These on here are the satsumas. This one's a brown select. This one is Arctic frost. I'm going to have just an amazing citrus crop this year. Just the biggest citrus crop I've ever had. Awori. Awori's been real slow maturing. This is orange frost. I like orange frost a little better than the Arctic frost. In fact, if anything, orange frost might be my favorite of the satsumas. Here's another brown select. I really like brown select a lot though. I like the flavor of it a lot. This is my golden boy pear tree. This tree's really struggled with fire blight, and with and if you've noticing a lot of joking of the camera, it's because I keep having to wipe my face and my glasses with my arm, and because it's not especially hot right now, but it is. I mean, it's like 89 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's probably about 89% humidity. I mean, it is really, the humidity is really oppressive. This is another Arctic frost satsuma, and it's just going to be a huge crop. The crop's so big, there's no way I can eat them all this year, so I will be selling some, just so you know. Oh, back to the golden boy. It's really struggled with all kinds of issues. I think the underlying problem with this pear tree is that it's planted between two citrus trees, and the citrus trees are heavy feeders, and they require a lot of nitrogen. And so even though I don't give the pear tree itself a lot of nitrogen, I think that big old root system is getting the nitrogen from the citrus trees, from under the citrus trees, and it's just the pears aren't as big as they should be, and I'm having issues with disease on it, and I'm having a lot of the same issues with this Baldwin pear, and it's also right next to a citrus tree, and I think it's the exact same issue with it. See all that new growth in the top of it's way too much. I think what's going on with this tree is that both the trees is that they get way too much nitrogen. The blueberries are pretty heavy feeders, and I give them a fair amount of nitrogen as well, and that's even more nitrogen near these trees. So it is what it is. That's just 2 out of 8 trees, pear trees that get too much nitrogen. Don't give your pear trees nitrogen, and don't plant them next to citrus trees. That's my advice. Tools Heirloom plum trees with lots of suckers coming up. Tools Heirloom is a Chickasaw cultivar passed down through my family. It's one of the best rootstocks it is. It makes a nice fruit, tastes a little bit like Hawaiian punch. This is an Asian pear. It's supposed to be Korean giant, but this is its first year really ripening fruit. And the pears are really sweet and good, but they aren't as big as Korean giant should be. And the other thing about them, let's see if I can get a good close-up of it. There we go. Yes. The other thing about it is that it's ripening early, or earlier than a Korean giant should here. And I'm thinking it's not a Korean giant. I think it was misidentified. And I tell you, I've had the worst luck with nurseries sending me the wrong thing. Misidentified fruit trees. I've had that happen so many times. As you know, as I have been talking on the, here you're saying, well, this was supposed to be, but it's not. Like that big old tree there was supposed to be a Jefferson plum tree. It's actually a good thing that it's not a Jefferson, because Jefferson would never take this climate. And I am pretty sure that this is a Bethlehem. And that's just one of just so many examples. I tell you, the nursery industry is just horrible with selling misidentified trees, and I've had such bad luck with it that it's like, okay, buy this, but maybe it'll be the right thing. You want the right thing, graft your own from a tree that you know, or from a tree that you've seen the fruit and you know what it is, or from someone you really trust, really has what you're looking for. That's my advice. I've just had such bad luck with nurseries. This is the Southern Bartlett. It's I've already done some picking off of it, actually quite a bit of picking off of it. This is another one. I'm not entirely sure if this is really Southern Bartlett. It sure doesn't fit the description of it, and nor is it like, people rave about what a great pear this is, and my opinion of it is that it's mediocre at best. This is a Tennessee pear. This is correctly identified. And this is actually a really good pear when they're really, really ripe. But they have to be dead on ripe. Otherwise, they're sweet. Actually, they're really sweet. But if they're not dead on ripe, they are bitter and astringent as well. They'll just it's like they'll be like that persimmon. They'll just suck the moisture out of your mouth. But when they're perfectly ripe, it takes on this wonderful spicy flavor. It's almost like it's got allspice and cinnamon in it. So this is another Robusto plum tree. Blueberry bush. This is the Richland plum tree. I've talked about it on another wild plum. This is another misidentified, supposed to be ruby sweet, but it's not. I'm actually going to graft that over to Georgia nectar, which is that new one I discovered this year, or was introduced to me. This is Savannah pear. This is a Negrone fig. Also, Violette de Bordeaux is the other name for it. Boy, this is my favorite fig so far. Although I got my first couple of Ronde de Bordeaux this year, which are a little earlier ripening. Let's see if we can get the. I don't know if we can get the. I don't. I tell you what, this phone does not like to focus on stuff. Very good. This is the Ronde de Bordeaux. There aren't any figs on it anymore, but it's a very similar fig. Both are very fruity, almost berry-like. I would say the Negrone is more like a blackberry flavor, and then this Violette de Bordeaux is like blackberry flavor, fig flavor, and then add some cinnamon and allspice or something to it. I mean, maybe some nutmeg, maybe more nutmeg-like, as it has a really interesting, complex flavor, really good flavor. It only produced 2 figs this year. That's a very slow maturing variety. This is this one here is Golden Boy. This one I picked. You can see it's a lot tighter than the pear trees with a lot of pears on them. This was mostly been picked over, and I've already pruned it for the summer. Same goes for the Hosoui. I do the same thing to the plum trees. When I finish picking the fruit off, I give them a summer pruning. I really give the Golden Boy a heavy one, as well as Hosoui. They're both real aggressive growers, and I can't allow them to get big because of I have to be able to get to the fire blight. When it gets fire blight, and with Hosoui, it makes such big pears. I mean, actually, any pear tree, to get decent pears, you need to be able to thin. So I try to keep them all small. The later the ripening the pear is, the lighter I tend to summer prune it. Like this Tennessee pear, it's a real late one, so I will give it a summer pruning, but it won't be as heavy as the much earlier season pears, because I'm less confident that it'll have enough time to flush out another round of growth and regain its strength before winter. I'll definitely cut off those water sprouts in the top, though. I can assure you that those are going to go, and the water sprouts on the top of this tree have got to go too. I think that's the only way to counter all that nitrogen that these two big trees in the back get, is to keep up with the summer pruning, and with the hopes that it kind of curves back that vegetative growth. But I mean, any pear tree, I mean, like this tree here, it's probably the latest one, and these pears are going to be ripe and ready to go in early August. And I'll still have August, October, November, before the tree goes dormant. It will flush out some growth. I have no, it always does when I summer prune it, so it's not like it won't have time to do some growing. So anyway, what else do we got? Well, if I don't cut this off pretty quick, the video is going to be too long to upload easily. I have a Shiro back here, Shiro plum, which is going to bloom for the first time next year, and I'm going to plant some plums in this area here. These are little suckers that are coming up. I'm going to have to go. Anyhow, I'll talk to you later. This is Marcus Tool, July 17th, 2025.